Does it make any sense to buy an investment property in New York City right now?
Yeah, for sure.
And
Well, right now, for sure. There's fear in the marketplace. You use it to your advantage. Buy great property. The best deals that have been done in New York City when buying an investment property, and it's sad to say, in the last 25 years, were the fall of 9/11, right? The fall of 2008, the fall of Hurricane Sandy, when a lot of New York City was underwater, and the majority of 2020. Because even New Yorkers were saying that New York is over. And every single time the market has come back stronger, and every single time the people that were courageous enough to go in and invest in what is, if you're buying Manhattan, an island of rock during those times, took advantage of fear. Like when COVID hit, right? We were starting our company. I'd made that decision in 2019. And then my train was moving too fast. I couldn't stop. So I was like, I guess we'll just do this. We just took us a couple extra months to launch. I sold an apartment on 57th Street on Billionaires Row. The guy was in it for, I think, $32 million. We sold it for 17. But the buyer, in May of 2020, there were bodies in Central Park. The Red Cross ship hadn't gotten there yet. Cuomo killing senior citizens all day long, right? Like, it was a dark time, and 17 million in that time was insane. He was an idiot. Except he wasn't. He was the opposite. And he bought, and it's now probably, it's like worth $35 million today, right? The same thing. We sold a penthouse in Soho that fall. It had been asking $40 million. We got it for 22.5. And that was a ton of money. Big discount, but discount to pre-COVID pricing, which every seller knew was over and done with. That apartment today is $50 million, even under the current political climate. So like I think you always negotiate with fear as a fundamental in good markets and in bad markets. And I think anyone who's smart and who has cash today is looking at a market like New York City and saying, where can I get a great deal?
Jason Oppenheim was saying the exact same thing with Los Angeles. It's like if you can put up with the headache and make real estate more active in terms of like active income than it usually is, you just got to grind away at it, then there is a lot of opportunity because people are just scared and they don't want to deal with the stuff that Graham's dealing with.
That's very true. Santa Monica, it's crazy, is selling for 2014 prices for multifamily.
It's crazy.
In more than 10 years, it's not gone up $1, selling for less.
Crazy.
So imagine owning real estate 11 years and taking a loss on it.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to do it, but it could be a good time.
Yeah. Listen, you always just have to make the right decision based on what makes sense for you. If you're buying to fix and flip, you're not holding it for 11 years, right? If you're buying to actually live in it and you're going to break even and you just had your carry costs, like you have to live somewhere anyway. And rents are incredible. There's parts of New York City now in a way that I've never seen before where it's more expensive to rent than it is to own. And it just hasn't been that way for a long, long time. So as long as rates come down and as long as there's some sort of government intervention on taxes in some way, shape or form for real estate, I think you could see a really, really big boom.
How do you think Zohran Mamdani's policies are going to affect prices in New York?
It remains to be seen. Listen, worst case scenario is New York City goes on a hold. COVID was 6 years ago, right? Like it was a long time ago now, even though it doesn't feel that way. And so New York City could go on pause, right? Which just means that not a whole lot changes. Prices don't go up. Prices don't really go down. There are always panic sellers. Like during tariffs, when Trump announced tariffs for the first time earlier this year, the stock market fell, right? It was a disaster. That whole weekend, he's playing golf. Everyone's panicking. We had sellers agree to deals in New York City that were just purely based on panic, 10% lower than what they could have sold for 22 days later.
Oof.
But sellers just panic, right? Like fear fuels markets. So if you just stay calm and you just breathe, New York City has gotten through terrorist attacks, global recessions, global pandemics, climate change, or this, that, the other, way worse than a 33-year-old TikTok mayor. So like the worst that can happen is it slows down. I think what probably happens is you have a big pause on development, which means that anything under construction now, anything new, anything luxury today just gets more valuable because it goes right back to supply and demand. What draws prices down, which is what he should do, is incentivize building, rezoning, create more housing, make a ton of it more affordable. The more housing you have coming to the market, the more pressure you're going to have on pricing. And then the more you're going to have to incentivize everybody else to lower prices, do this, do that. Like Giuliani post 9/11 created a 421A and 421G tax abatement in New York City. And everyone was up in arms. And all it did is said, if you are willing to develop real estate in New York City so that people will live here and feel safe, you can defer all real estate taxes for 10 to 25 years, depending on the asset, right? Depending on if you're going to build some public infrastructure, if it's a conversion building, this, that, the other. And it boomed New York because there was incentive to come back. It created new housing. New York City bounced back post the greatest terrorist attack on U.S. soil in history, right? So if he creates incentives instead of taking away the opportunity to build, I think pricing could go through the roof. But if he just holds firm and pushes on a lot of his other policies, then New York City will probably just stay on pause for a second. Great real estate will still sell. Other real estate will just sit tight and everyone will just wait out what happens.
Does that also apply to freeze the rent?
Yeah, he's talking about rent freeze and rent stabilized and rent controlled apartments. I mean, all that does, and I get it. Like, I understand why he won. I totally understand. Yeah. It is unbelievably unaffordable. Not just for the home, like, I mean, there are 350,000 people in New York City that are homeless. Like, I wear one of these bracelets on my wrist. Every dollar we sell from this one goes to the Coalition for the Homeless in New York City. And I push that as much as possible. Rent is high. Food is too high. Regular necessities are all too high. Healthcare is too high, even with Obamacare or how you use it, right? So I get it. Like, if you're angry and someone comes out and says, I know why you're angry and I'm going to fix it, that guy, you vote for that guy. Whether you know how he's going to do that or not, it doesn't matter. It's just someone who's aligning with your anger. Like, I totally get it. Mirroring anger is probably the greatest way to the office ever. We saw Trump do it on the same side. Mamdani is the left's version of Trump. Right? It took the hard left position, and a lot of people said, yeah. But if you talk to people right now as to, great, awesome, how is this going to happen? No one has any idea, and nor do they really care. But I think if he focuses on creating instead of taking, we could have a great city. And I hope he does, man. Like, there's only one New York.
Yeah. How would a rent freeze in New York City affect the prices?
I don't know, because I don't think it's possible. So like I don't think there's a real case study in the US anyway, definitely in New York. What a rent freeze will do is disincentivize anyone who actually owns said apartments to fix them. And so you go back to like New York City of the 60s and 70s, where you have these derelict buildings with apartments that are falling apart, hallways that are crap, light bulbs that are out, trash that's not picked up. And that then affects the sidewalk, which then affects the next building, that then affects the next building. And then developers come and say, well, I can't build on this block. These buildings are all disaster. That then affects the next building. And then these buildings go underwater because the rents are frozen, but you're not freezing interest rates. You freeze rent, that's fine, but you're not freezing the rates. You're not freezing markets. You're not freezing time. And so who's going to fix all these apartments with what money? Like with what profit? You're just not going to do it. And that's what happens.
You know what I never understood is why rent control still applies to people who make several $100,000 a year. I thought it would be a great principle, at least better than the current system, is if you're making above a certain amount, you're not rent controlled. Because otherwise you have people that are making $200,000 a year that just happen to be in a rent controlled spot because they happened to sign a lease in 2010.
Yeah. It's hard to get tenants out of apartments who are making more money. It does happen. Rent control was not set up for people who can afford free market apartments. It is what it is.
If you've ever been denied a car loan, credit card, or even an apartment because of what's on your credit report, you are not alone. Most people don't even know what's hurting their credit score, let alone how to fix it. That is exactly where our sponsor Dispute Beast comes in. It's an AI-powered platform that helps you find and remove outdated or inaccurate items from your credit report fast.
We're talking things like late payments, old accounts and collections, or even accounts that don't belong to you. Not to mention, how it works is super easy. You connect your credit report and DisputeBeast scans it for negative marks that could be dragging down your score. Then it generates custom dispute letters tailored for your situation, no templates and no guesswork.
You could choose to just download the data and send it to the agencies yourself, or you can use their built-in mail service where they will literally handle everything for you.
It's honestly just really clean and simple to use, and it's built by experts.
So if you're ready to take back control of your credit, go to disputebeast.com/ICH today. There's also a link down below in the description, disputebeast.com/ICH. Guys, they will literally handle everything for you. If you're dissatisfied with your credit, they will do all of the research, let you know what's going wrong, and they will fight for you. disputebeast.com/ICH. Thank you so much to DisputeBeast for sponsoring this clip.